Hey guys, my name is Megan, and I would like to talk about The Lord of the Rings because, I am very obsessed with them. This is my first time doing a video like this, so please prepare if I do a lot of screw-ups, but I really love The Lord of the Rings, and I hope you could give me some feedback and see how I do. I'm kind of looking back at myself right now on this video thing, and I'm looking pretty good. Yeah, I'm pretty much a narcissist, so don't mind me. Well, so basically to start off, I'd really like to thank Tolkien, J.R.R. Tolkien, for making such a beautiful story as Lord of the Rings, because without Lord of the Rings, I probably would have died without knowing it. I think I kind of died already because I saw the movies before reading the books. Who would ever do that? I mean, really? I don't know. But books are hecka good, and the movie has like the basics down, but they don't add in like the extra awesome stuff. So I don't know. Movie producers do what movie producers do. But I would like to say just a word of thanks to J.R.R. Tolkien, because he's just a chill guy, and he was a college professor who wanted to teach his kids different techniques, and I guess that's kind of why he made like stuff like the Silmarillion and Lord of the Rings. But actually, the Lord of the Rings was actually made for his son, who was a soldier in World War II. And, this guy's from England, and he didn't want his son to be bored being in a trench all day, while everybody's firing at him. He wanted his son to read something while being stuck in a trench. Well, so that's kind of how he chose just one small little story out of Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings, sorry. He made one little story out of the Silmarillion to put into, to give to his son, because, his son was pretty chill. And another reason why he created Lord of the Rings mainly was to show like courageous, like to show that there's courage, because it's like you don't know a true hero until this person has actually gone out. They're dirty, they're sweaty, they're trudging through I don't know how many miles, and they don't look pretty because they made an effort. That's pretty much what courage is. And I like that about Lord of the Rings, because it actually shows like how much heroism is in the actual book, but people don't recognize it because they all think like, oh, it's just a story, oh, blah 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 blah. No, Lord of the Rings is basically just about people doing courageous things. Like, I don't know a single character in Lord of the Rings that isn't courageous. Even the bad guys are pretty courageous. Well, probably except for Saruman, probably. Well, it depends, really. But, basically what Saruman basically did was just hang out in Isengard all day. It's like, yeah, I'm a wizard. I don't need to do this. Well, but I thought that was, even like characters like Gollum, I think he's pretty courageous, because, he's willing to do anything to get the ring, and, or to get past Frodo and whatnot. So, yeah. But, I mean, I thought that was pretty cool. And, I was listening to this Lord of the Rings podcast. This guy named Aaron, who who did these podcasts called, the podcast is basically called Return the Podcast, and he does discourses about Lord of the Rings, and I think it's really cool because he gave me some new views on characters that I didn't really like Boromir, for example. I did not like Boromir at first, but after this guy kind of explained Boromir's story, I actually began to realize, hey, I guess Boromir isn't that bad. And I don't think Denethor's that bad either, now that I kind of think about it. But I just don't like people who do favoritism. I'm sorry. I mean, I'm not the person to judge, but it's an only child thing, and yeah, I'm an only child. Why do you think I'm talking so loud without my mom yelling at me right now? But anywho, yeah, so... Well, I think what I would first like to talk about is, I just want to discuss, how the book kind of was changed when the movie was made. Well, first of all, especially, this part is just bad. If you recall in The Two Towers, when Pippin and Merry, or for you formal people, Peregrine and Merendoc go into the Fangorn woods, and they because they're carried off by orcs. Well, when they meet Treebeard is he's not mean. He doesn't just grab them and he's like, hobbits. Well, he doesn't even know that they're hobbits. I'm making stuff up, but he was actually really kind in the book, and I think it's kind of shocking because in the book he actually knew that Saruman was taking down his tree folk and putting them I don't know, they're using them for resources, and you don't want to get an Ent mad. You don't. I just don't think the movie really explained it right. In the movie, Treebeard had just found out when he was taking Pippin and Merry to Isengard or whatever that place. He was he just marches through the woods, and then he comes up to this big opening, and then there's no trees there, and he's like, oh! That did not happen in the book. I guess I didn't really like that about that, because, it just didn't go, really. I mean, and there's a lot of other characters, too, that didn't really get recognized. Which brings me to, Tom Bombadil. Really. This is my personal opinion. I like Tom Bombadil and Goldberry. It's why wouldn't they, let them be in the freaking movie? They were awesome! The reason why I like it is because, I'm a pagan, and Tom Bombadil and Goldberry kind of remind me of, Wiccans in, the woods. And, I thought it was hecka cool to see, these people are spiritual. Or, I think they're actually spirits. I don't remember what they are. But I thought that those people were, just probably the most relaxed people in the entire book. But it's interesting how they didn't even put them in the movie. I would have loved to see them in the movie, but that unfortunately did not happen, so I was kind of mad. But to move on, I think another part that it was kind of irksome is that they had okay, if you recall, Frodo, Merry, Pippin, and Sam, and also Strider were going to Rivendell to, see the elves. But, like, okay, so if you recall, one of the ring wraiths stabs Frodo, and Frodo just like, constipated. Okay, anywho, okay, so they figure that, they're not going to make to Rivendell on time, because, Rivendell's like, I think like 3 days away from, like, in walking distance. So in the movie, they have Arwen, which is barely in the book. She's barely in the book. They have her take Frodo back to, Rivendell. It wasn't Arwen. It was some other guy, some other elf dude. I don't remember how to pronounce his name. It starts with a G, but I think he was in The Hobbit. I don't remember. And he was like one of the people who actually took Frodo back. So I found it kind of weird. But I think why they actually put Arwen so much in the book, or I mean the book. She was actually barely in the first book. Come on, people. Like, the reason why they put her in the movie is because, she and Aragorn kind of like kiss, kiss, hug, hug, blah, blah, blah. I thought that was kind of interesting, but my mom's boyfriend quotes it as, for the ladies. We can have a different discussion about that, but yes, I find it quite interesting that people would do that. I think to get on another topic, I would like to discuss, like, different characters of Lord of the Rings. Like, ones, like, this is only my opinion, and you can probably think something different, but I would like to just say my opinion, because, I don't know, I like sharing. But I would like to discuss different characters from Lord of the Rings, how I feel about them. I think I don't want to discuss every single freaking character from Lord of the Rings, because there's a lot that you have to memorize. I think I would like to talk about Isildur, Aragorn, and how about Gollum? Yeah. Well, to start off, you have Isildur, and he's the main guy, the guy before Frodo comes along, who's supposed to throw the ring into the pits of, like Amon Mordor or something like that. That's how I would, like, the mountains of Amon Amarth, which is kind of, well, it's a metal band, but let's call it Amon Amarth. And so he's supposed to throw it in there, and I think it's kind of stupid. Well, he kind of makes, well, it's kind of like fate in almost a way, where the ring has corrupted him so much. It's kind of like when Frodo comes, the ring has almost corrupted him, but I think Gollum saves him in the end. Oh, sorry, I'm a bit tall, hard to maneuver. But it's kind of interesting how it all plays out, because if you come to think about it, even though, like, I think Isildur, I don't know, he wasn't really a good character. See, people, I find Isildur interesting because people like him, like, he gets corrupted. He's like one of those good guy, bad guy characters, where, he fights for the good, common good or something like that. But in the end, he kind of turns his back on reality because he's so corrupted by that ring. And it's very interesting how that all played out. And I felt bad for Elrond, because he's like, no, you gotta put that freaking ring into the freaking fire, or else humanity will be freaking destroyed. And Isildur's like, no, like, dude, are you like peer pressuring me to like do something that I don't want to do? No, I'm telling you the right thing. That ring is peer pressuring you. It's not. Are you kidding me? Yeah. So, moving on from Isildur, I'd like to talk about Aragorn. I find his character quite interesting because he's, you know, he's, like, not an heir, but he's a descendant of Isildur. And I don't understand why he couldn't have thrown the ring into the pit of fire. I mean, yeah, he gets corrupted by, you know, the freaking orb thing that Gandalf brings from, Isengard that Saruman had. And so, I don't think it's bad for him to have dropped the ring into the fire, because, you know, Frodo, he couldn't take it. He's not a fighter. He's not really, I mean, yeah, he's a hero. He's the best example of a hero, but still, he's not. I don't think he would have been capable to actually go further. But I think Aragorn would have been the best choice, because, you know, there's a lot of examples that he could have actually done it. But then again, he is the descendant of Isildur, so I don't think people really trusted him because, you know, of his past. Especially, like, I think it was either Elrond or Boromir where they said something about him being like him kind of being a disgrace because he was a descendant of Isildur. I mean, he would have still, I think he would have managed, but it's kind of weird. But it's interesting how Tolkien actually rearranged the characters where, like, the weakest, or aka the mellowest, like the hobbits, would actually be the heroes because, you know, they're not fighters. So I can see why he wouldn't have Aragorn drop the ring into the fire of Mordor. And to get on the last character, Gollum. You know, I've actually found like a whole bunch of good examples on how he could actually be heroic. But I never really thought he was heroic, in my opinion, because he's just, I mean, he's not a hero, but at the same time, he did help Frodo and Sam get to Doom on Mon Marth. And it's, I mean, he's a good character, but I think that he felt kind of betrayed when Frodo, like, you know, when Faramir captures them at that one place. I forgot what it was called, but see, this is why I need to read more. Where Faramir kind of captures them and takes them around, and they capture Gollum. I find it quite interesting that you know, he kind of changes from there because he feels betrayed. And also, you know, he feels betrayed by Frodo, and that's when aka Stinker takes place. Because if you recall, Sam, I love Sam. He's so hilarious in the book. He's like, it's funny when he refers to Smeagol like having two sides of Stinker and Slinker. Stinker being like the malignant part of Gollum or Smeagol, and like Slinker being like the benevolent side of Smeagol and stuff. But, you know, you can also say that Smeagol's actually a pretty weak character because, you know, he was so corrupted by the ring as soon as, like, Deagle got it out of the river where they're in. And, you know, he was instantly corrupt that he had to kill Deagle. And Deagle was pretty corrupt, too. So, if Deagle had killed Smeagol, then you would be hearing, I don't know. You'd be hearing a lot of weird stuff. I don't know. I think it would have been different if Deagle had actually killed Smeagol, but it's interesting. Yeah, so I think he was kind of a weak character because he was just so corrupted by that ring. It's like, dude. I mean, I probably would have been corrupted too. It's like, yeah, but, you know. I mean, there's some good sides to Gollum too that people don't really understand. It's like, he did help Frodo get to Mordor along with Sam, even though Sam didn't really like him. But I think, in my opinion, I think Smeagol was actually putting up a little bit of facade to lure Frodo into feeling pity for him. And yeah, but I think he played a good guy, bad guy role. I mean, yeah. So I just think it's kind of cool that they actually put a character like that in there. It's kind of like people who get too corrupted by money or something else. It's like they just can't let it go. They're cheap. It's kind of like how I picture it. So yeah, those are the characters that I kind of analyzed throughout. Well, to wrap this up, I think, I don't know, I think everybody's bored. I'm gonna have to figure out, conversations I can say to actually interest you. But, yeah, I like talking about Lord of the Rings. Nobody likes, barely anybody likes Lord of the Rings at my school, so I'm gonna have to, make videos and, discuss more because this is driving me nuts. Plus, I have those lovely people. Well, I mean, I haven't talked to them, but there's these lovely people. Return of the Podcast. I would highly recommend you to listen to their stuff because they make great stuff. Well, there's Aaron who does Return of the Podcast, and then there's another one who does. It's a lady who does Crystal Clear Token. I forgot what her name was, but I totally recommend you, if you have iTunes, go on there and look for them because they make the best podcasts. I'm serious, they make the best. Well, thank you so much for taking your time watching me in my Kung Fu constipated Frodo skills. I'm not really constipated. Who else? How can you forget me? Alright. Well, thank you very much for listening to me. And if you have any, not questions or concerns, but more opinions, please contact. Really like it. Okay? Thanks. Bye and, merry part.